All right, we are joined here with Senator Ron Rice, co-chairman of the Joint Public Schools Committee. Senator, the hearing took place today regarding the Education Adequacy Report. What did we learn from today's hearing going forward?
Well, first of all, I think the hearings are very good because it's very important to get the public perspective and organization perspective of what the adequacy report actually meant to the school districts throughout the state of New Jersey, not just the SDA districts, but those districts that are not known as SDA. The hearing, number one, made it very clear that we have to do a lot more in dealing with some of the districts that fall in between adequacy in terms of funding and those that can more or less take care of themselves. Also, it was important to note that it was that when the legislature passed the concurrent resolutions not to accept adequacy reports, which we had to do by law, make that decision, it was based on the fact that some of the information was valid in terms of the formula and some of the weights and things like that. Others were questionable as relate to those districts that are really low income and some middle class, etc. And so the testimony itself provided us with a whole list of other queries that must be answered prior to us moving forward, even with this formula. The formula is certain, the way it's set up is helpful in one way, but it's kind of bad in another way. And so there's a lot of work to be done as relate to the report, because the question is, if in fact we reject the report, that's like saying we're rejecting kind of the way the formula is set up with the weights, not so much the formula itself, which the court support. Then the question is, what do we do? And the hope is that the governor will respect the fact that we can accept this and we can find a way as we go into the budget hearing to start to provide additional dollars, or at least leave the weights the way they are in the underperforming districts and areas like that. The other issue is, how do we address some of the areas of preschool? That's very important. We believe that we have to start moving to enhance those areas that want full day, all-day kindergarten, that wants to have an opportunity to enhance. And we know all the money is not going to be there, but the hearing, as was indicated on the record today, we need to start to find monies to assist in that effort. And I think that's very important. By the same token, we have to look at other areas of our spending and what our priorities are given the budget problems that we do have as it relates to deficit. Rather than going in, shifting money within the Department of Education that's already being used for parity and bringing about some of the equitable distributions, in order to deal with the others, we're going to have to find pots of money. And they may be sitting up in some of the correction areas, they may be sitting someplace else, but we have to be rational and reasonable and objective about how we look at that. Because the tradition has been, when we have to expand something, we traditionally take the resources for something we just finally got to where it should be at the level of funding or at the level of support, and then we find there's another need, so we depreciate or diminish that, which compounds the problem. It takes you backwards while you're trying to go forward in another area. That can't be the way government runs here.
Great. All right, Senator. Thank you very much.
Sure.